I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, March the 22nd, brought to you in part by Toromox by Norbrook. Toromox runs parasites out of town. It's an affordable alternative to Cydectin, and as a producer you can expect the same weight gain advantage that you're used to with Cydectin, but now at a lower cost with Toromox. For more information, go to norbrook.com. No more Paraguay burgers. I don't know if you guys are going to be upset about that, but I don't know that it's going to increase the price. I'm sure it will make a difference on the price of our boneless beef or grinding products that the big packers are importing in from other countries there to throw with our trim or our fat to make it more palatable, to try to get the price of burgers down cheaper amid this high beef price here that's going on. But we did get the imports of Paraguayan beef stopped, and we want to give credit to two senators. Senator Jon Tester from Montana, he's a Democrat, but he's a champion for agriculture, guys, and Senator Mike Rounds, a Republican from South Dakota. They worked together. It was a bipartisan deal. They decided to put a stop to this, and Jon Tester, like I said, he's a Democrat, but he was quoted as saying that President Biden butchered this decision by allowing imports of beef from Paraguay. So they put this measure together. It was called a Congressional Review Act, and it passed a big time, 70 to 25. I'd like to know who the 25 senators were that voted against this, and if they would like to sit down to Paraguayan beef every night for their dinner. But a Congressional Review Act passed. It overturned the Biden administration's decision to lift a long-standing ban on beef imports from Paraguay because in the recent history they have had outbreaks of foot and mouth disease. They do not have near the same stringent health and safety standards that we have with beef slaughter here in the United States. We just don't need that crap in here, and it was a bad mistake to allow it to come in. But like I said, this was a bipartisan deal. I'm glad that it got stopped, and we can stop talking about this now. But your fat cattle market higher again, and I'm going to say higher, higher, higher. And my buddy up in Omaha, one of my favorite contacts, he always calls me Eddie Collins when I do that, because apparently 50 or 60 years ago there was a radio ag personality by the name of Eddie Collins from Red Oak, Iowa, and he would talk in markets like these. He would say, higher, higher, higher. Mom, keep the kids off the roads, because the packer buyers are going to be out looking for cattle, and they're not going to be slowing down or looking for kids. And that's kind of the way things are going right now. It's just it's unbelievable. We keep looking for the black swan that's going to come in and knock this market off its pedestal, but we haven't seen it yet. I thought that we had seen it Thursday morning early, as I had a jillion messages that had links to the fire that happened at National or Marfrig's packing plant in Liberal, Kansas. There, a beef packing plant there. Said that crews were fighting a fire there. Luckily, we found out later that it was not a big deal, and that they may have had just a few hours delay in their fabrication there. So we dodged another black swan there. I'm sure packers would have loved to have taken that, for the black swan that kills the market. We've got other ones out there. We've got this disease that is affecting dairy cows down in the southern plains in the Texas, West Texas, around where I live, in the southwestern part of the Texas Panhandle, over into eastern New Mexico. There's some kind of strange disease that is affecting dairy cows in there, making their milk thick and gross, and they can't seem to figure it out. You can go ahead and slaughter those cows. They're okay for slaughter. And we don't know if that's going to significantly increase the amount of cows that hit the market, like a buyout deal. but I doubt it, or they wouldn't be giving $174 for big Angus bulls in Dodge City, Kansas, like they did on Wednesday. But the market just unbelievable, and we're tickled to death about it. I talked to a Feeder Flash gang member. He said he woke up on Thursday morning. First thing, he got a packer buyer bidding him $190 on his premium quality fat cattle there. He said he just hung right in there. He said, no, I'd like a little more than that. A few hours later, he called back and he got the $191. I've heard of fat cattle selling to some small regionals as high as $192 and $193, and to regionals on a dress basis as high as $310. This is really a high market. It is going to break the all-time record high price as far as a weighted average in the 5-area feeding region. It will break that this week. It'll be an all-time record high fat cattle market, and like you guys know, we're at near or at all-time record high prices for all classes of cattle, and that would go to say that we need to get them up there in your fat cattle too. Excuse me. We got something that could cause a little speed bump. We got a cattle on feed report coming out here on Friday. It's going to be bearish. I believe it's going to be bearish, and I think they're way off on the placement, so let's just brace ourselves for that. The inventory for March 1st, the average of the analyst guess is 100.8. You think if there's still more cattle in the feedlots? Yes, there's a lot of cattle in the feedlots. Placements for February, you remember how we had hardly any placements for January, and they had those up higher than what they should have been, and there was very, very few cattle that sold. Sale barns didn't have any cattle. There's no cattle moving direct, nothing. And then February, here they come, and then the market was great. So here all the cattle come, but the average of the analyst guess on February placements is only 106.3% of a year ago. I think it could be 115. So just brace yourselves for that, guys. What about marketings? They're higher. We got an extra day there, 103.9% of a year ago, so that'll help a little bit. But just brace yourselves for a bearish cattle on feed report coming out here on Friday, 2 o'clock Central in the afternoon. We're talking about black swans. I think the black swan that'll probably affect the market more than anything is the election. We've got an election year, and things just happen weird in an election year, and that'll likely be the thing that that knocks this market off its pedestal. Not saying that has to happen, but we've just continued to go straight up here for at least this calendar year, especially even going into the last part of last year, and then other than last fall, before that it was going up higher all the time. So we're going to hit some snags here once in a while, guys. I'm not saying it's going to fall completely out of bed, but we're going to hit some snags. Talk about more fire relief. I'm going to advertise a concert that they're having in Amarillo, Texas, and the proceeds are going to go to help those affected from the fires in the northeastern panhandle of Texas there. They're calling this concert the Panhandle Boys. We invite you to support that. I'm not going to be able to go because I'm down here in South Texas right now, but at Starlight Ranch, which is affiliated with the Big Texan Steak Ranch there in Amarillo, Sunday afternoon starting at 5 o'clock, they're going to have the Panhandle Boys. It's going to be Randall King, Kevin Fowler, and Aaron Watson going to be playing there, and all the proceeds that come from that concert are going to help fire victims. So it's something that you guys ought to look into if you're interested in that kind of thing. How about Livestock Risk Services? That's Dakota Moss. Of course, we've been talking about how wild and crazy these prices are. Don't let this market get away without taking advantage of it. At least take advantage of the extreme market, just minus what your premium's going to be for an LRP. I know they're expensive, but look out there and get one. If you're turning cattle out this summer, you can relax and you can enjoy the summer knowing that you've got the price protected on those cattle. It doesn't have to be a smooth load. It doesn't have to be steers. You can help yourself. But for more information, go to livestockriskservices.com. Talk about your board on Thursday. April live cattle futures were up 57 cents at 188.37. all your back months were down, but not terribly. June was down 27 at 184.5, and your back months from there on were down 37 to down 52. March feeder cattle were up 62 cents at 250.87. The remainder of your traded contracts on feeder cattle were all down. April was down 30 cents at 254.62, and your further back months down 72 to down 107. May corn was up 1 3/4 cent at 440 3/4. May beans up 2 1/2 at 12.12. May Kansas City hard red winter wheat up 1 1/4 cent at 581 3/4. Let's talk about your fat cattle trade, and it was pretty whippy snappy there, guys. On Thursday, from late morning right up till 2 o'clock deadline, whenever they have to get that information turned in. We'll find out what happened late on Thursday as we talk about it early next week. But the market broke free. It was $2 to $3 higher on a live basis in the northern plains, from 190 to 191 for the most part. Southern plains was mostly $2 higher at 188. Dress sales in the northern plains were $4 higher for the most part, mostly at 302. But on the breakdown, Iowa sold about 16,000 on Thursday, from 188 to 191.50. Dress sales from $3 to 310. Nebraska almost 17,000 on Thursday, 188 to 191 on a live basis. Dress sales from $3 to 306. Kansas sold 11,200 on Thursday, from 187 to 190, mostly 188. And Texas moved more than they've typically been moving on Thursday at 7,800 head, and they'll likely have more than that by the time we get done with the week, but from 187 to 188 1/4, but mostly at 188. Like I said, that was $2 higher. The northern plains is likely going to have a snowstorm here late over the weekend and early next week. And this month of March has come in like a lion and out like in like a lamb and out like a lion. It's usually the other way around, but it come in really nice. 3 weeks ago we were thinking about, oh my gosh, the summer's already here, and everybody was having such beautiful weather. And now the last week of March, as it goes out, big snowstorm and cold temperatures coming across the northern plains. Box beef cutout values were up, but not a whole lot. But choice cuts up 29 cents at 313.73. Selects up 102 at 303.73. Your slaughter through the first 4 days of the week, 475,000. That was 2,000 more than last week, 29,000 less than the same week a year ago. Actual slaughter information come back for the week ending March the 9th. Had your average dressed steer carcass weight at 922 pounds. That's 3 pounds heavier than the previous report. Talk about what else is going on. Farapiece is that revolutionary product, guys, that is scientifically proven. Farapiece counteracts and reduces stress, and it reduces the threat perception in all treated cattle. Use anytime you're exposing cattle to new stress, all the way from weaning those cattle to helping them prevent sickness on the weaning process, and that includes shipping and everything to do with that, all the way to using Farapiece at harvest time to prevent dark cutters on your finished fed cattle, guys. For more information, go to farapiece.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction. Based on an 800-pound cash steer up through your middle 12 states, going through Thursday's sales, it was up 19 cents at 254.37 on the day there. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index sitting at 251.82. Do not forget about the Angus influence sale at Santa Teresa Livestock Auction in Santa Teresa, New Mexico, right down on the border. That's going to be here today on Friday at 11 o'clock Central. Don't forget about Kingsville Livestock Auction. Kingsville, Missouri's got that Circle A influenced female dispersal. So it's going to be here on Friday night at 6 p.m. Talk about your big sales on Thursday. Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas sold 4,500 head on Thursday. The feeder steers under 8 were $2 to $6 higher. Feeder steers over 8 were steady to $3 lower, and we've kind of been seeing them pull back a little bit on those biggest feeder cattle. Feeder heifers under 7, mostly 3 higher. Over 7, $2 to $6 lower. Stick out price in Salina, Kansas on Thursday was 78 steer calves weighed 570 and bring 336.50. That was impressive. How about Winter Livestock in Pratt, Kansas? 4,100 head for their Thursday sale. Didn't have the federal state market report out. I looked at your automated market report. Feeders look $2 to $3 higher. Your calves, most of your 6 weights were sure lower there. Kind of hard to tell, but Pratt was your National Beefwire stick out sale of the day. You look at this automated market report and you see your best tested weights. There were 416 head of 7 weight steers. They averaged 757 at 265.91. 620 head of 8 weight steers in Pratt averaged 859 at 243.42. There were 404 head of 9 weight steers. They averaged 959 pounds with a weighted average price of $225.59. Look at your heifers. 361 head of 6 weight heifers averaged 638 at 258.92. 659 head of 7 weight heifers averaged 759 at 239.10. And 616 head of feeder heifers in Pratt, Kansas had a weighted average weight of 849 and a weighted average price of $222.17. Give you some individual quotes that were impressive all around. How about a market we've never talked about before? Sisseton Livestock Auction in Sisseton, South Dakota. Say that 25 times. They sell 71 steers, weigh 830 pounds and bring 255. Pretty dang impressive there, guys. How about New Cambria Livestock Auction in New Cambria, Missouri? DVAuction broadcaster there every Thursday, guys. 78 steers, weighed 738 at 286 and a quarter. That's impressive. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday, your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day, come out of Broken Bow Livestock Market in Broken Bow, Nebraska. It was heifers. 77 head of heifers weighed 670 and bring 272. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.